Professor Richard Odwor is the Director of Research at the Kenyatta University. Also joining me, Anne Maina, the National Coordinator, Biodiversity and Biosafety Association of Kenya. Richard, let me start off with you because Kenya's president has lifted a decade-long ban on the import and cultivation of genetically modified crops. Is this the right move for the country given the health concerns associated with genetically modified foods?
Thank you so much. I think this is one of the best welcome news that I can say. One, because this country requires new technology, particularly modern technology, for purposes of enhancing that which is currently ongoing. We have been having a ban for the last 10 years. And within those 10 years, the health concerns have been there. For the last 10 years that we haven't been importing or even eating GMOs, we still have been having cancer. We even have kids who are born without with cancer, and they haven't even eaten GMO. Any person who attaches or links GMO to cancer is probably, in my opinion, trivializing the real critical, deliberate work that needs to be done in cancer. Cancer is more complex than what we are trivializing it about. And I have previously had, exposure in this kind of research and cancer. My postdoc was in drug discovery with Pfizer. And I know what it takes to develop drugs cancer and what it also means. So for me as a country, this is a welcome news, at least for now. Our students that we are training in the university, part of the trainings we give them is biotechnology. So with the ban existing, they cannot even practice what we have taught them from the university. Also, I want to say it right away, before I conclude probably, is to say that we are not claiming that this is the only solution. It is just part of the complementary solutions that need to join the existing mechanism so that we have a way forward towards food security.
And you are opposed to the use of GMOs, though. Why? What are your reasons?
Thank you, Beatrice. For us, the biggest, we are very disappointed with this move because the control of the introduction of GMOs into the country is about corporate capture. Multinationals have been interested in the Kenyan market, in the sub-Saharan market, for the introduction of genetically modified foods. The impact it will have on food and seed will be very high. If you look at, for example, Burkina Faso, when they introduced BT cotton some years back, the price of the BT cotton was 40 times the price of the conventional cotton. And even the market was refusing that GMO cotton because of poorer quality. And for us, looking at maize, which is a staple in Kenya, having a crop that is genetically modified and surrounded by very questionable and very controversial technology is not the right way for us. For us, Kenya has always adopted a precautionary principle, and we urge the government, the cabinet, the president, kindly let us go back to precaution. We do not need to commercialize our staple. Moving back after introducing GMOs and taking like 5 years into the introduction of GMOs, going back to our biodiversity will be very difficult because GMOs thrive in monocultures. Our farmers in Kenya are smallholder farmers. There's cross-pollination of the maize from one field to another. We will lose our diversity. We need our diversity for nutrition and food security. And for us, GMOs is a no, because who will control the seed? He who controls the seed will control life, will control even our food. And that, even in the Western countries, food is a security issue. And so Kenya needs to look at this issue and let us go, think twice about this.
Richard, you've talked about biotechnology, though, as a teaching method in universities, but there has been concerns that African countries lack the research capacity to determine the safety of GMOs. How can they overcome this challenge?
Well, it is interesting that we still think that African countries have not really adopted. And I just want, for purposes of record, we have 8 African countries that have already adopted. In the West, we have Nigeria and Ghana. In East Africa, we have Kenya now, Sudan, and Ethiopia. In South Africa, southern part of Africa, we have South Africa, Malawi, and Eswatini. And there are a number of other countries that are actually at advanced stages of almost releasing this. Uganda is just next door, and many other countries. What I want to say here is that any technology that does not trigger such kind of debates like the ones we're having is a bad technology in the first place. This technology needs to be also questioned just like any other. I am a molecular biologist myself. I head the Plant Transformation Laboratory, the only laboratory that does GMO in this country at Kenyatta University, and I'm the director of research. In this country, together with many of us, we have capacity, we have a laboratory here. And I invite the media and any other person interested to see how GMO looks like. That from 2004 to now, we are talking of almost 18 years, GMO has been developed here in Kenya, and we have them here in the lab. So the fear that we don't have capacity, I don't even understand where it is coming from, because we have National Biosafety Authority, which was established in 2010 and following a Biosafety Act 2009, which the only mandate for National Biosafety Authority is to ensure and assure the safety of application of this genetic engineering. Their work is to make sure that whatever is imported is verified. And above all, whatever we do in the lab must also be verified. And
Right.
more interestingly, the GMO must be labeled. There is a law in this country that they will all be labeled. So the idea of thinking that you will be forced to take GMO is neither here nor there.
All right.
It is going to be labeled, and therefore somebody has a choice.
And let me get a very final and very brief comment from you, though. In your view, what other safer options or alternatives can Kenya and other countries pursue to improve their food security?
Thank you, Beatrice. We have been promoting agroecological agriculture. If you look at the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, they have begun a process of promoting agroecology. And when you talk about organic agriculture, regenerative agriculture, and all these kinds of agriculture that reduces the use of pesticides, herbicides, and works on issues of co-creation, how do you manage the soil, how do you build on the soil, that is what we are recommending. As civil society working in Kenya, we have been giving alternatives of supporting farmers by developing biofertilizers, using local resources. And so when Kenya is facing the challenges of drought, the challenges of climate change, these agroecological alternatives are good. And let me dispel the issue that we do not trust our scientists. We respect our scientists, and you know they're well qualified. But often these engineered crops come to them for when they're already done in the US by the companies in most of these developed countries, and they come here, they're offered scholarships, they do that work even in the out of the country. And so we are questioning who is paying the piper. He who pays the piper plays the tune.